students, I'm Madam Joyce from Educare TZ. I'm teaching biology, and today, my students, I will be with you to discuss our very interesting topic, and this is coordination and irritability. So within this coordination and irritability, we are going to focus looking on our subtopic, which is nervous coordination in mammals. So we are discussing the nervous coordination in mammals. So my students, before we are proceeding more further to see our main concern in our today's session, firstly, we have to recall ourselves on where we end on the last session. In the last session, also we tried to look on this subtopic, but specifically on the features of the nerve impulse. We have already seen the features of the nerve impulse. Tukasema ziko tano. Kwa hiyo sasa make sure that you know to explain them. So you have to understand first so that you can explain on whatever you need. So my student, you are warmly welcome in this session. Is where now we are going to start another thing, that is the structure of the chemical synapse. The structure of the chemical synapse. So we have to know what is this synapse first, and how can it help in transmission of the nerve impulse and so on. So we have to know first what is this synapse. So let's see the introduction of this structure of the chemical synapse. So here we are saying that the point where the axon of one neuron join the dendrite or the cell body of another neuron is known as the synapse. Simply, we can say that the synapse is a junction. That is the junction that is occurring between one neuron and another neuron. Tunasema kwamba ile synapse inakuwa ni kama njia panda, au tunasema kwamba ni sehemu ambapo inatenganisha between one neuron and another neuron. It's just like a connector. Ina connect neuron moja na neuron nyingine. For example, here we have seen that the point where the axon of one neuron join the dendrite. So ile axon ina join the dendrite, or the cell body of one neuron ina join with another dendrite. That's why I have said that it's just like a junction. That is junction between one neuron and another neuron. Yani ipo kama njia panda. Yani njia panda inaunganisha neuron moja na neuron nyingine. Ndio ambayo inaitwa synapse. So now we can say that the membrane of the first neuron connecting the synapse, it is called the presynaptic membrane. Ile membrane ambayo iliyokuwa kwenye neuron moja ambayo inahitaji connect na inahitaji unganisha na neuron nyingine inaitwa presynaptic membrane. The word pre means before. So the first, or we can say that the first neuron connecting the synapse, it is called the synaptic neuron. But also we can say that while the other membrane of the neuron is called the postsynaptic membrane. So after the presynaptic membrane, we have another membrane which is called the postsynaptic membrane. After, yani baada ya neuron moja na neuron nyingine, pale hile presynaptic membrane inapokutana na postsynaptic membrane of another neuron, hiyo tunaita postsynaptic membrane. We're going to see later on how this membrane can help in facilitating transmission of the nerve impulse. And now we can say that this membrane between the two neurons are separated by a gap about 20 nanometer called the synaptic cleft. So hile gap ambayo sasa inatofautisha au inatenganisha between one neuron and another neuron, inasemekana kwamba is about 20 nanometer. Lile gap au ile junction inayotofautisha kati ya neuron moja na neuron nyingine, ule uwazi wa katikati pale unaitwa synaptic cleft. Inaitwa ipo inabi approximated up to 20 nanometer, ule uwazi au ile gap. So now tunasema kwamba at the end of the presynaptic neuron there is a badge called the synaptic knob. mwishoni kabisa wa presynaptic membrane kunakuwa kama kuna kinundu, kuna just like a bulb like structure. Ile bulb like structure ndio ambayo tunaita synaptic knob. We're going later on to see this, all of this, synaptic cleft, synaptic knob, and so on. Presynaptic membrane, you will see. But here you have to know these things before I show you the picture of this synaptic membrane and synaptic knobs. But here, as I have said, at the end of the presynaptic membrane, there is a bulb, or there is a badge that is called the synaptic knob. But also, we can say that the cytoplasm of the synaptic knob contains numerous mitochondria and small synaptic vessels. So hapa tunasema kwamba ndani ya ile presynaptic membrane, ndani ya hii synaptic knob ambayo ni kale ka kinundu ambapo kanapatikana ndani ya presynaptic membrane, tunasema kwamba there is a numerous mitochondria. Kuna mitochondria nyingi sana. And we know the function of mitochondria is to provide energy while the neuron are while the impulses are passed from one neuron to another neuron. So in enhance energy, it's just like a powerhouse of the neuron. And now also apart from the mitochondria, there is a synaptic vessels. That is within the synaptic knob. There is mitochondria together with the synaptic vesicles. So now we are saying that synaptic transmission across the synapse is carried out by chemical substances called neurotransmitters, which are stored in the synaptic vesicles. Remember, we have seen that within the synaptic knob, we have mitochondria together with the synaptic vesicles. So within the synaptic vessels, there is a chemicals. Zile chemicals ndizo ambazo zinasaidia for the transmission of the nerve impulse. Hizo chemicals zinaitwa neurotransmitters. Zinasaidia ku enhance transmission of the impulse from one neuron to another neuron. All of these neurotransmitters, they are found within the synaptic vesicles. So now you can see it is very interesting. So you have to recall one thing and another thing. And also that is all about the presynaptic membrane. And also we can say that the presynaptic membrane is modified for attachment of synaptic vesicles and vessels and release of transmitters substance into the synaptic cleft. Kwa hile presynaptic membrane, it is designed or it is attached or it is modified for the attachment of the synaptic vessels. Remember, within the synaptic vessels is where now we can find this neurotransmitter which enhance the transmission of the nerve impulse. Kwa hiyo sasa tunasema kwamba within these synaptic vesicles are released the transmitter substance into the synaptic cleft. So zile neurotransmitters or zile transmitters zinazosafirisha zile impulse zinaliliziwa, zinaachiwa kwenye hile gap ambayo it is always about 20 nanometers. Kwa hiyo inaliliziwa kwenye hile synaptic cleft so that it can move to another neuron. And now that is all about the presynaptic membrane. So you have to know what kind of content are found within the presynaptic membrane. We have said that within the presynaptic membrane there is a knob. With that knob or that is synaptic knob, within it there is two structures, that is mitochondria together with the synaptic vessels. And within the synaptic vessels is where now we can find the neurotransmitters. Hizi neurotransmitters ndizo ambazo zinasaidia for the transmission of the nerve impulse kutoka sehemu moja kwenda sehemu nyingine. Na pia tukasema ndani ya hii presynaptic membrane kuna structure au tunasema kwamba it is the attachment of the synaptic vessels. So kwenye ile synaptic membrane kunakuwa na zile synaptic vessels, ambapo sasa zile synaptic vessels ndani yake ndizo kuna transmitters. So zile transmitters kama impulse ikija pale kwenye hile synapse, ita release its content kwenye synaptic cleft. So hiyo ndio tunaita presynaptic membrane. So my student, so in the next part of this session is where we are going to discuss another part which is found within the synapse, and that is postsynaptic membrane. So thank you for listening.